120, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my studio. Happy Tuesday. It is Giving Tuesday, Shawls for Sharing Make Along Day, and I'm going to be showing you a new or an alternative way to use our knit chart for lace. It's going to be really exciting, but I will wait for people to pop over from pre-chat and notifications first. So if you are joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you're crafting today. Let me know if you have finished a project in the last 24 hours since we've last spoke. I would love to hear what everybody else is making. And say hello if you like. If you don't feel welcome saying hello, you're still welcome to be here. That's okay. Hi, Thea and Edna, Marcia, Joe, Judy K, Judy G, Donna, Judy W. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Tuesday. This is Giving Tuesday, the day we do the Shawls for Sharing Make Along. If you are new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Tuesday's show is dedicated to charity, and Shawls for Sharing is a way that I raise money to help victims of domestic violence. I dedicate one shawl pattern every quarter, every season, alternate between knit and crochet to design a pattern specifically for this, and then all of the funds raised are donated to charity. This quarter we have a sponsor. We have two sponsors actually. One is Ancient Art Fibers, who generously donated all of the yarn to make this season shawl, the Alessia shawl. You can find the pattern on my website. You can also find a link to order the yarn from Ancient Art Fibers called Lascaux DK, and the yarn kit is 15% off with a special coupon code that you can find on the pattern page. And we also have a second sponsor, and that is I Like Knitting Magazine, and they're offering a promotion for you as well. You can join their subscription for only $5 and have access to all of the patterns in all of their magazines. So really wonderful options, and thank you to both of our sponsors for being involved. I appreciate them being involved in my charity. I appreciate any help raising awareness about survivors of domestic violence, awareness of domestic violence in general, and also helping me to get more yummy yarn in everybody's hands. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Every week during the Tuesday show, I try to take a new spin on the pattern. So like in the previous season, in the crochet shawl that we did for the last season, I showed you how to turn it from a shawl into a headscarf, how to add beads to the edging, how to add beads to the body of the project, how to add stripes, different ways to do stripes. So I try to show you different ways to use a pattern every week to just show you, number one, how much value you really get in a pattern if you decide to look outside the box, and maybe even just get your wheels turning about looking at things from different angles and seeing if you can extract one piece of a pattern to apply it to something else too. Just fun stuff. And so in this quarter, not only did I show you in a tutorial video how to actually make this shawl, we've also gone over how to read the chart and all of that good stuff. But then in the following weeks after that, throughout the quarter, I've been showing you different ways to use the center gusset panel section of this pattern to do other things, and how to take that chart and take a look at it. It's not going to show up on this camera. When I do the overhead shot, it will. And how you can use this type of chart for other things. So at first we did it exactly the way it's written. Then I showed you how to use it as a beading chart and not a stitch knit and purl chart. And today I'm going to show you how to convert it into a lace chart. Let's see, we'll do it up on my shirt so you can see better. Anyway, that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to show you how to read this chart and convert it. You'll see what I mean. We're not going to have to touch the chart at all, but we're going to look at it with a different set of goggles. We're going to look at it with lace goggles on today, not texture goggles, if that makes sense. All right, let's see who else is here. We have Sharon, Miss Muffet, Diane, Donna, Debbie, Crazed Vintage Model, Diane, Melanie, Lori, Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. I'm so glad you're here. So today is Giving Tuesday. We also go live for the show other days of the week, and I release tutorial videos throughout the week as well, sometimes yarn boxing videos. If any of this interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel, the big red button below, and there's a notification button right next to it. And if you click that, you can be notified every time I go live and join in the live chat, like we're doing here this morning. But even when I release a video, I release it as a live premiere also, so that you can join in the chat with me while we watch the video together. So it's kind of live still. And also consider subscribing to my mailing list. Shoot, I should have pulled that link up. We'll do it later. Anyway, you can sign up for my mailing list. It's 100% private and free, and it's the best way to be notified when I have something new, a new educational article on my blog. I write lots of really great educational articles there. When there's a new sale, a new promotion, a new pattern, new something, it's the best way to get firsthand information from me. And again, it's private, it's safe. Try it out. If you don't like it, you know, nobody has to stay if you don't like it, but if any of this interests you, it's worth giving me a shot. Hi, Kat. Good morning. Hi, Propagating Artist. I hope I said that correctly. All right, does anybody have any questions for me before we start our tutorial? I'm going to take the camera, put it into my overhead shot, show you the chart, show you how we're going to put on our lace vision goggles, lace glass, whatever. We're going to put on, thank you, Judy, for sharing the link to the newsletter sign up. We're going to put on our lace goggles and see if we can look at this chart from the world of lace. Hi, Joan. Hi, Angela. Thank you, Edna. Thank you. I love this blouse. You know, I have a lot of lacy blouses from Amazon, and I do love them all, but this little floral lace here is so pretty. What size cord would be best for this shawl? It depends, because in the beginning you could use even a 16-inch circular up here. You're starting with a very minimal number of stitches, so it doesn't matter until you get further along to the bottom. But once you start growing your shawl, this is a top-down increasing shawl, so as your stitch count grows, and certainly by the time you get to the ruffled edging that has a ton of stitches, you're going to want the largest circular you have. If you don't have a large circular, I would recommend getting a 36-inch circular or higher. There's 36-inch, there's 47-inch, there's 60-inch. There's a set of 47-inch circulars from that really affordable brand that I like to buy on Amazon, where you can get all the sizes of the needles and the 47-inch circular. I think you can get the whole set of sizes for like around $10. Let me see if I can find it. But the 47-inch circulars are really great for not only accommodating large numbers of stitches in a shawl, but they're also great for magic loop knitting, which we've been so if you want to search my shop for anything on Amazon, it's amazon.com/shop/Kristin Omdahl. Let's see if I can find those circulars. They're so affordable. They come in 16-inch sets, 31-inch sets. They come in 47-inch sets. Let's see if I can find the 47. I know they're here because I know I bought them. Is it this one? No, that's 31. You get 18 pairs though. You get all the sizes. It's really amazing. Let's see. 47 inches. Here we go. I love this set because it's the best of both worlds. You can do it, you can use it for lace when you have lots of stitches, but you can also use it for tiny things when you do magic loop. It's really great. Thank you, Propagating Artist. I'm super excited about all the new yarns too, and we'll talk about them again on another show. Today is dedicated to talking about this shawl, and I am super excited to show you how to convert this chart into a lace chart. You're welcome, Thea. You know, you'll probably be fine with a 36, but a 47-inch set of needles is nice to have, like I said, for not only lace, but also for magic loop. I prefer that size over 36-inch for circulars. Oh, that's a nice look of my chin. Okay, get the camera up here, scoot my computer back, my keys out of the way. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the chart. Let's see if it, ooh, see how much nicer that looks on camera now? It looks way nicer on camera here than backlit from the window. Okay, so this chart, as written, I'll show you the key over here. The key shows that these squares represent a plain square means knit on right side, purl on wrong side, and a dot in the square means knit on wrong side, purl on right side, okay? So this would be knitting and purling across here to give us that gorgeous X and O texture in the shawl, down the gusset, okay? In the previous week, we looked at this chart and we put on beading goggles, right? And we said, instead of looking at this as purls and knits, we counted all of them as knit stitches, but counted them as bead knit stitches where there were dots and regular knit stitches in the plain squares. So the reason why I made sure to do 2 textured stitches side by side, whether it was for beads or the knit and purl combinations, I wanted to make sure that it was sets of 2 and not sets of 1. Number 1, because it's DK weight yarn, so it's already a finer texture, and to really get a little more texture, I thought doing 2 stitches together would give it a little more structure. But this is also set up so that we can represent those 2 stitches as, does anybody want to guess? We're gonna look at this with our lace goggles. What could we do for lace if we have 2 stitches side by side that we want to convert to something? I'll wait and see if anybody wants to guess. Once you see it, you're gonna be really excited about this, I think. I know I am. Hi, Sabrina. Hello to everybody who has said hello and everybody who even hasn't said hello. You're all welcome here, and I'm happy to have everybody. Hi, Chrissy. Good morning. Whoops, dropped my little pointer. Yarn needles make great pointers in videos. Yes, you could represent these as baubles in crochet, absolutely. To convert this to lace, we're going to look at those 2 stitches as a yarn over, knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2 together is a very standard lace eyelet stitch, and by putting these 2 markers side by side to create our X's and O's, I thought it was a great way to convert this into a yarn over, knit 2 together also. Because if it was just 1 stitch for our X's and O's, we wouldn't have enough stitches to do a yarn over, knit 2 together. But the way this is set up, we can. So let's read row 1 with our lace goggles on. This would represent yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, and knit 3. And then row 2 would be knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1. Good morning, Sherry. Hi, Steffi. Does everybody understand that? Does that make sense? And if it does make sense, isn't that exciting? You could actually apply this to other stitch patterns then too, or you could create other letters on grid paper and do this for yourself. Edna says it makes sense. Wonderful. Do you like it then? I figure if it makes sense, it might be really exciting to learn this. I think it's exciting. I guess it doesn't take much to excite me. I don't know. I just think it's really, really exciting when you can take one chart and turn it into 3 different types of stitch work. So we've got this, and that's just talking about knitting. We're in the following weeks, we're going to convert this into different types of crochet too. We're going to explore this with filet crochet, and we're going to explore this with textured crochet with like bobble stitches. I think it's going to be super fun. Alrighty, so who would like to see me do some stitches with it? So what I've done here so far this morning, I did some homework like a good little girl. Let's see if I can get this camera to face both of those, and there. Can you see? It's a little wonky, but can you see the I wanted to make sure you could see the chart while I'm knitting. Is that okay? Does that look pretty good? And we're not going to need the key at this point. We're going to, because we're now going to read these as yarn over, knit two togethers, and knit stitches. So I did the first repeat here. I worked rows 1 through 8 so that you could see one sample as we now reverse our X's and O's, and I'm going to start with row 9 and read along while I do the stitches so that you can not only follow along and read the line with me, but then you can watch me do the stitches as well. So we're good? Are we ready to go? Sabrina, you're raising your hand. Is that because you have a question, or are you ready to go? I'll pause for a minute, make sure, because once I start knitting, I won't be looking up as much. I will be looking back and forth between my hands and the chart. So row 9, we're going to read it from where the number is. Row 9 is going to read knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together. And I just want to point out that I have added a selvage stitch on each edge. Get this, how do we get this down? There we go. Okay, so we're going to read this. I'm going to knit 1 stitch on either side for a selvage edge, which will be not included in the chart, okay? So for row 9, I'm going to start with a knit 1 for my selvage stitch, then look at my chart and knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together, and that's the end of the chart, but I do have a selvage stitch on the end, so I'm going to knit 1 for my selvage stitch. Okay, so row 10 now is going to read from the opposite side. You always start from where the row number is, and this one's going to be a knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together, knit 5, knit 2 together, or yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. We're going to do 2 side by side and end with a knit 2. So let's do row 10 now. So we have a knit 1 for our selvage stitch, then we go to the chart. Chart starts with a knit 1, then yarn over, knit 2 together. Notice how I'm having to work with my yarn over stitches from the previous row. This is a type of knitting where you're doing the patterning on every row, not doing a plain row in between. So you're going to have to use those yarn overs as part of your knit 2 togethers sometimes. Okay, so let's go back to our work. We had a knit 1, then a yarn over, knit 2 together for row 10, then it's knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, then it's knit 5, and then remember it's going to be yarn over, knit 2 together 2 times towards the end of row 10. So we're going to go yarn over, knit 2 together, then yarn over, knit 2 together. See, easy peasy, you can do them side by side, and we end with a knit 2. I have 1 stitch left because I have a selvage stitch, no problem. Okay, we'll turn our work, and now we're ready to begin row 11. I will pause here though and see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions? And then we'll read row 11 and work it. Hi Carrie, good morning. Hi Trudy, good morning. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to move on, and let's read row 11 now from this side. And the chart reads knit 1, then we're counting this as a yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2. For those of you that are joining right now, I am putting on some lace goggles today to convert the Alicia knit shawl pattern X's and O's charts into lace. Last week we put on our beading goggles and converted this chart into a way to bead instead of do our knit and purl combinations for texture like we did on the original shawl, which is so pretty. But I showed you how to convert this with some beading goggles on and how you could use this chart for beading, and we did X's and O's with our beads. And then this week we're putting on our lace goggles, and I'm showing you how to convert this chart into a lace chart by making these two dotted stitches side by side represent a yarn over knit two together instead. So now we're ready to begin row 11, or did I read row 11 already? I'll wait and see. Did I read row 11, or do we need to read it first? I forgot. Well, I guess it never hurts to read it again anyway. So row 11 reads knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together, knit 5, knit 2 together times 2, and knit 2. Oh, I did already read it. Okay, well, I read it twice then. Okay, row 11, and just a reminder, I do have a selvage stitch on each edge, so we're going to start with a knit 1 before we start the chart. Then row 11 starts with a knit 1. Then it's yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together times 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, and then the chart ends with knit 2, and then we have one more selvage stitch, so we'll knit 1. Oh, that reminds me, there have been some questions about parts of the pattern where there are sections on the even numbered rows, so on the even numbered rows that have two sets of knit stitches side by side like this on row 4. And I had a couple of questions come in, why does it say knit 7, knit 2 and not just knit 9? And that's a great question, and let me show you why. Because if you were knitting row 4 and placing stitch markers on either side of your gusset, which I do recommend to keep you on target and make sure that you're doing the textured stitches here and doing your knit stitches and your yarn overs on either side. If you put a stitch marker on either side of your gusset panel, having these stitches separated like that is a lifesaver, okay? Because that knit 7 is for the yarn over, knit 5, yarn over from the previous row, and it doesn't mess up you following your knit stitches and your purl stitches in the chart or in the pattern for doing the X's and O's. Miss Muffet, no, we're converting this chart today. As I've mentioned several times, we're putting on our lace goggles today and converting those two dots from knitting and purling on the right and wrong side of the row. When we read it for the texture stitches, we read this key, but we're putting on our lace goggles today and doing this as representing those two dots as a yarn over, knit 2 together. Now, you could do this on a stockinette base if you'd prefer, which means you would do yarn over, knit 2 together on the right side rows and yarn over, purl together on the wrong side rows. You could do that as well. So this I've done on a garter stitch base. Right? I like lace on a garter stitch base. However, you could choose to do this on a stockinette base, which means it would be yarn over, knit 2 together and knit stitches, yarn over, knit 2 get together, knit stitches, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit stitches, and then it would be purl stitches, purl 2 together stitches, purl stitches, purl 2 together. Okay, so the row 1 would read yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 3, and then the following row would be purl 2, yarn over, purl 2 together 2 times, purl 5, yarn over, purl 2 together, purl 2, yarn over, purl 2 together, purl 1. Does that make sense? So if you wanted to do it in a stockinette base, you absolutely could. I don't think there's enough time for me to show you both ways today, but that's a great question, and you could absolutely do this on a stockinette base instead of a garter base. And you actually have that choice in many lace stitch patterns. You can choose to do something in a stockinette base or a garter base as well. Okay, we'll turn the camera around. I think we're done with the tutorial. So I can answer questions if you'd rather now, like this, because those are great questions. You're welcome, Edna. I hope this does open your eyes to looking at charts a different way. There's different ways to do things, you know, there's different ways to be creative, and there's nothing wrong with exploring and looking at things outside the box. You know, a pattern is straightforward, especially a well-written pattern is straightforward, no question. And there are many, many talented people that know how to write straightforward patterns, and that's great. But what I like to teach sometimes is, what if we think of it a little differently? And honestly, you can get more out of your patterns that way, especially if the multiple is shared for the stitch pattern and the edging. Either one of those can be extracted from a pattern and applied to something else. Let's say you have a pattern and you love the edging on it, but you want to put it on something else. Then put it on something else. That's great. You can use things more than once. You can use things in different ideas. A top-down increasing shawl, for example, in a knit pattern, you can do it in multiple weights of yarn. Maybe you did it in worsted weight yarn the first time. Try it in fingering weight yarn the next time. Maybe you did it in a stockinette base the first time. Maybe try a garter stitch base the next time. There's so many different ways to explore a pattern and try something different. So for example, on this one, I did that textured stitch, the textured chart in the middle to represent the X's and O's on a solid background. And then I did the sides of the shawl in garter stitch. You could do these in stockinette instead. You could do knit on the right side and purl on the wrong side. And can I show the shawl in front of a white background? There are lots of photos of the shawl on my website. You can see the stitches a lot better on there. We've already shared the link to the website. You're not going to see it on any more on my white shirt than up close if you're not seeing it in this lighting. But again, there are professional photos of the shawl on my website, and you can see the texture much better there. And if you choose to do it in a thicker yarn, like this yarn that I'm using here, this is another yarn from Ancient Art Fibers. This is called their Revival Worsted. If you go into a worsted or a bulky yarn, you'll actually see the stitches a lot better that way too. But if you just go follow the link to the pattern page, you can see much better photos of the shawl there. Also, you could choose to do a different edging. You don't have to do a ruffle edging. You don't have to do a pleated ruffle edging. You could actually do the ruffle edging in the garter stitch, since that's what we did in the body of the shawl. That would be pretty too. You could change this up in so many different ways, or try a different edging altogether. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, or try this lace panel in the center instead. If you don't like the knit and purl, do yarn, or it's not even if you don't like it. If you prefer to do it in lace, or maybe you've already done this already and you want to do a second one in lace, there's lots of reasons to mix it up. So you could try the lace or the beads in the center panel here. One of the things that I want to share at some point also is taking this chart of the X's and O's and doing it in a fine enough gauge to make it the crown of a hat, so that we could put X's and O's at the top of a hat, then pick up and knit around the square to then do a top-down hat. That would be fun too. You could put X's and O's in the edging too. You could do X's and O's in lace in the edging as well. I love the shawl too. I have a soft spot for a ruffle edging anyway. And in this size, if you don't like this size, it's a top-down increasing shawl, so you could definitely make it larger. You would just need more yarn. But even in this size, I think it makes a really beautiful cowl, especially with all of that pleated ruffle framing your face. I think this is really pretty as a cowl too. And you could tie it, even more layers and ruffles. Isn't that cute? I just love the way the pleated ruffles frame your face. I think that is so pretty and so warm too. So warm. You can also wear it offset, where you wore it more of a scarf, wearing it more up on your neck like this. You could wear it like that as a cowl as well, off on the side. And again, showing so much of that beautiful ruffle. Isn't that pretty too? You can even tie this again. I think that would be another way to convert it into a cowl. So cozy. But yeah, definitely make it longer if you want a large shawl. It's a 2-ball project this way in the DK weight yarn, and like I said, Ancient Art Fibers is offering a discount on the kit if you would like to purchase it. You just have to use that coupon code and follow the link in my pattern page. Yes, and as far as gifting goes, sharing a project with your gift recipient that can be worn a number of ways is valuable too. Yes, it's very pretty as a cowl. I agree. Thank you. All right, I don't see any other questions, so thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. Thank you to our sponsors, Ancient Art Fibers and I Like Knitting Magazine. You'll find their promotions and ways that they're sponsoring this quarter in the video description and on the pattern page, and you can find the Alicia Knit Shawl pattern on my website as well. Everything will be listed in the video description fairly soon, and if you don't get a chance to watch this live, always feel welcome to come back and watch the recorded version. You're always welcome to say hello there as well. Ask your questions here anytime. I get notified from all of that and reply to everybody. If you enjoyed my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you think it's something that some of your friends or fellow knitters or crafters might enjoy, please consider sharing it as well. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.